Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari and we were discussing the Contempt of Court Act 1971. See the beauty of this act. This act is a very small act with just 24 sections. And to define what is contempt of court, because that is the subject of the act, to understand that we have just three subsections, not even sections. Three subsections, that is section 2A defines what is contempt of court, 2B defines what is civil contempt, and 2C defines what is criminal contempt. That's all. Now, when it comes to exceptions or the defenses or the matters which are not considered as criminal contempts, there we have as many as 7 sections. That is almost 1/3 of the act. Now, that is the importance of defenses, and here I am going to discuss all those 7 exemptions or the defenses available for contempt of court. Why to waste time? Let's get into the first slide. In the first slide, let's have the glimpse of all the 7 sections, that is starting from section 3, which discusses about innocent publication and distribution of matter not contempt. Section 4 discusses about fair and accurate report of judicial proceedings not contempt. Section 5 says fair criticisms of judicial act not contempt. Section 6 says complaint against presiding officers of subordinate courts when not contempt. And section 7 discusses about publication of information relating to proceedings in chambers or in camera not contempt except in certain cases. Section 8 discusses about other defenses not affected, and the last section that we are going to discuss here is section 9, act not to imply enlargement of scope of contempt. Now let us try discuss one by one, where section 3 and section 7 are little lengthy, otherwise all the remaining sections are very small. First thing first, let us get into section 3. The first section that we are going to discuss here is section 3. Now this is a quite lengthy section and this is a very important section. That is why I have kept 2 slides for this particular section, which discusses about innocent publication and distribution of matter not contempt. Now, what is the meaning of publication? The moment you hear this word, you start thinking that something being printed. No, when it comes to legal language, publication means whatever is being told via spoken or written language, or by signs, or by some visible representation, or otherwise. It includes both verbal and non-verbal communication. That is a very important aspect you need to remember. That is the primary information a lawyer or advocate should have. From there, the section starts. It says, which I have brought in a very simple English, that a person shall not be guilty of contempt of court on the ground that he has published any matter which interferes or tend to interfere with or obstructs or tend to obstruct the course of justice in connection with any civil or criminal proceeding pending at that time of publication, if at that time he had no reasonable ground for believing that the proceeding was pending. So what are the ingredients? First thing, there should be a person, and second, there should be a civil or criminal case, and thirdly, such case should be in pending status. Fourthly, the person who is there in this case is not aware that such case is pending, and fifthly, he is publishing certain aspects relating to that case without having any intention of interfering or to obstruct the case, and he has no reasonable grounds for believing that the proceeding was pending. In that case, that person cannot be held for guilty of contempt of court. I hope that is as easy as that. Subsection 2 is very easy. It says nothing is contempt of court unless any act or law restricting the same, in case if it is in not pending status. So if the case is over, in that case, unless and until there is a restriction from any act or law, whatever is been published is not contempt of court. Subsection 3 discusses about 2 important exceptions for subsection 1, that is section 3 and section 5 of Press and Registration of Books Act 1867. With that, let us try understand certain explanation under section 3. Now this part is very important, which gives detailed information on what is a pending case. Now it says under civil proceeding, a case is pending when there is a filing of a plaint or otherwise, and under criminal proceedings there is a case is pending as per the Code of Criminal Procedure or any other law under these below circumstances. What are the circumstances? In a case of commission of an offence, the case is pending if there is a charge sheet or challan is filed, or when the court issues summons or warrant. That is very important. And in any other case, when the court takes cognizance of the matter, the case is pending in front of the court. And in any civil or criminal proceeding, the proceeding is continued till the time the appeal or revision is been completely decided if there are any provision under the act for such appeal or revision. And sometime what happens, there is a provision for appeal but the time has not expired and the person who is eligible to go for certain appeal is not yet gone for appeal. In that case, we have to wait till the expiry of time to conclude that particular case. Unless and until the expire of time happens, the appeal is still on, so the case is also pending. But remember, just because the execution of decree hasn't happened under a civil case or a sentence passed therein is still pending under a criminal proceeding, we cannot say the case is pending. It is over as far as the decree is been already heard or the sentence is been already announced. Now only thing we have to ensure that there is no further provision for any appeal or revision. That is one thing we need to make sure. After understanding all of these aspects and considering everything, and then if someone decides that the case is over, and after that if they are making some innocent publication and distributes, in that case it is not considered as contempt of court, and this is the first exception that one can get. But the burden of proof is always on the person who has done such act. That is a very important aspect one need to remember. Section 4 discusses about fair and accurate report of judicial proceeding, not contempt. Now, if any person makes a fair and accurate report of a judicial proceedings, he cannot be held guilty for such act as contempt of court because that is allowed. However, we need to keep the provisions of section 7 in our mind, which are the proceedings happened in chamber or in camera, which I am going to discuss in my next slide. One another important aspect we need to remember is such fair and accurate report can come at any stage of the proceeding, which is what covered under section 4. Then comes section 5, which discusses about fair criticism of judicial act, not contempt. Now, a person shall not be guilty of contempt of court for publishing any fair comment on the merits of any case which has been heard and finally decided. Guys, remember, we have already learned the explanation under section 3, which very clearly defines what is a case finally decided or what is a pending case. Now, if you are satisfied that the case is finally decided, and after that if you are making fair criticisms of that judicial act, then that will not be considered as contempt of court. Section 6 says a person shall not be guilty of contempt of court in respect of any statement made by him in good faith concerning the presiding officer any subordinate court. Now somebody is making a statement about the presiding officer of the subordinate court, and if such statement is made in good faith, then that cannot be considered as guilty of contempt of court. Now here subordinate court means any court which is subordinate to high court. That is very important aspect. That is all about section 6. We understood from section 3 and 5 that it is okay to make publication on the decided cases. But what if those cases were held in chamber or in camera? What happens in that case? That is what precisely discussed under section 7, which says publication of information relating to proceedings in chambers or in camera not contempt except in certain cases. That means you can make a fair and accurate report of all those proceedings which were held in chambers or in camera, but the key word here is there are exceptions. Now, if they are saying exceptions, it becomes very important for us to know that exception, because if we are doing any kind of publications which are mentioned under exception, then it becomes contempt of court. So let us try understand what are the 4 exceptions that the Act is discussing. Now, while discussing these exceptions, one very important point that you need to always keep in your mind is all these proceedings are happened in chamber or in camera. With that presumption, we are going to these exceptions. That is very important. The first exception is if such publication is contrary to the provisions of any enactment for the time being in force. Now, these proceedings are happened under certain law, and the law very clearly says that there should not be any publications made if it conducted under in chambers or in camera, and even after law spelling it out very clearly, if someone is making publication, then it is contempt of court. The second exception is if such proceedings which are happened in chambers or in camera are related to public policy and there is a very clear expressed prohibition, and even after if somebody is making publication, then that is contempt of court. Likewise, the matter related to public order or security of the state, if there is a very clear guidelines to not to make publication, and if someone is making publication, that is also contempt of court. And lastly, if they are related to certain secret processes or discovery or invention, and if they have happened in chamber or in camera, and such proceedings should not be made publication, such guideline is already there, even then if someone is making publication, then it is a contempt of court. Remember, I already repeated that it should be very clearly, expressly prohibit such publication. Otherwise, it is not contempt of court, and that is what exactly given under subsection 2. So remember, it is not automatic. It should mention that there is a prohibition of publication. In that case, if anybody further makes any publication, then it is contempt of court. Section 8 and 9 are further very interesting. Section 8 says other defenses not affected. Now, if there are any other defenses available for to prove that it is not contempt of court other than this act, whatever we have discussed from section 3 to 7 already, those defenses are also okay. That is very important. And section 9 says you cannot say each and everything as contempt of court, just like if there is any disobedience, breach or publication or any other act, you cannot bring everything under contempt of court. That is very important. That is under section 9. Now that we know what is contempt of court, what are not contempt of court, and it is time for us to understand if there is any contempt of court, then what is the punishment. That will be my next session. Till then, thank you so much if you have already subscribed my channel. If not, this is your time to subscribe my channel. Please like, share and comment my videos. All the very best for whatsoever purpose you are watching my channel, and thanks again.